What is up, YouTube? It's your boy The Walk 71, and I'm here with another wrestling review. This time, a new WWE pay-per-view concept that hopefully never comes back. WWE Stomping Grounds, which I think should be the name for WWE Super Showdown. But we'll keep it moving. Overall, this is probably one of the best main roster pay-per-views in a minute. Like, where matches were hitting after each other. Like, I actually wasn't bored with this pay-per-view for the most part. Like, I thought this was a good pay-per-view. A lot of the matches were good. Like, you know the pay-per-view is good when the cruiserweight match has the crowd emote. But anyways, let's get into this review. The first match we got was on the pre-show, which was Drew Gulak versus Akira Tazawa versus the WWE Cruiserweight Champion Tony Nese in a triple threat match for the title. This match was lit. All types of counters, flips, everything. Like, there was one part where Gulak had Tony Nese in the Gulak, and then Akira Tazawa jumped off the top rope with the basically a flying senton. That was pretty cool. Tony Nese had hit, like, I don't even know what you would name. I don't even know what's the name of the move, but it's like where he has his opponent on his back and it's like upside down and he just drops his opponent on his head. Did that for a near fall. We got Tony Nese doing flips and stuff, all types of stuff. It was great. Got the crowd into the match a lot. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a crowd emote during a cruiserweight match in a minute. But the finish ended up seeing Drew Gulak hit the Torture Rack neckbreaker on Akira Tazawa, I believe, for the 1-2-3, and he is now the new WWE Cruiserweight Champion. So I'm happy to see that Drew Gulak is finally getting his run with the title, because I feel like he is really good. Had some really good matches against Kushida in NXT, and I just feel like they should finally do something with him. Like, when he had the whole gimmick where he was like a no-fly zone, I thought he should have won the title then, but it didn't happen. So now he's the champion, so let's see what happens with this. Let's see where it goes. So after that, we opened up... Let me scroll down. We opened up the show with the Raw Women's title match. Lacey Evans taking on the Raw Women's champion, the man, Becky Lynch. Now, before the pre-show went off, it actually showed Becky Lynch walking from backstage to gorilla position to get ready for the match. We get to the match itself. Okay, match. I mean, Becky Lynch did everything Becky Lynch does. Lacey Evans... I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I don't know about Lacey Evans, man. I don't think she's ready to be in this main event picture. I don't think she's ready for it. Like, I'm not trying to, like, nitpick or anything, but there's a few times in this match where Lacey Evans just, like, botched. Like, there was a move in there where Becky Lynch does her little back kick, and, like, Lacey Evans completely missed it. What else did she do? It was an okay match. I mean, if I were to compare it to the Money in the Bank match, it was a tad bit better. It was cool. I mean, we get to the ending of the match, and basically after Lacey Evans was taking advantage, Becky Lynch started going crazy with the fury of offense before she eventually just hit the disarmor and won. And Lacey Evans tapped out immediately. So it's whatever. After that, we got a tag team match that was surprisingly good. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day. Tag team match. It was randomly made on... What show? Was it SmackDown? It was either SmackDown or Raw. They're pretty much the same show these days. But it was announced on one of those shows that they were going to have a match at Stomping Grounds. Match was good. It started off with Kevin Owens taking out Xavier Woods. Super kick party. Hit a swanton bomb for a near fall, tagging Sami Zayn, hits another super kick, goes for the Blue Thunder bomb. Xavier Woods kicks out. They take advantage of Xavier Woods, start wailing on him, getting all types of moves off. Eventually, he gets the hot tag on Big E. Big E does Big E stuff, suplexes, splashes. There was actually one part where Xavier Woods lifted Big E off of his shoulders, and Big E jumped off of his shoulders. Like, not like he had him on his shoulders, and Big E just like landed on top of it. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm talking about, though. They have Big E on the shoulders, and then he just like bends over, and Big E just does his splash, but from a higher angle for a near fall. Xavier Woods always impresses me when they let him get ring work in, because usually he's the one that's always on the mic or he's on the side playing the trombone. But when he actually gets to wrestle, and I've said this in other reviews, I think it was the New Day Wyatt match, I had said Xavier Woods is actually really good when he gets in his element and they let him wrestle. And I know because I used to watch him in TNA before I realized that he was Consequences Creed in TNA. I didn't realize that he was Xavier Woods, but this is like before he got to main roster. This is like when he was in NXT. So he always impresses me with the stuff he does in the match. We get to the end of the match though. They take out Big E, and then eventually leads to Kevin Owens hitting a stunner on Xavier Woods, and Xavier Woods hitting a ridiculous sell with the stunner. He like jumped in the air and then twisted, and then he got the win. I think Sami and Kevin Owens really needed this more than New Day, because the New Day is still in the main event because of Kofi Kingston, who's the champion. So New Day could take the loss and still keep it moving, because the New Day is always going to be, you know, popular, and the New Day is always going to be at the top of the card or in the middle or somewhere. You know what I mean? But Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn really needed this, even though I feel like they shouldn't even be next to each other because they're on two different brands. But that is the whole purpose of this retarded wildcard rule. We just have Raw superstars facing SmackDown superstars, and it just doesn't make any sense at this point. It's pretty stupid. The next match we ended up getting was a WWE United States Championship match between Ricochet and Samoa Joe. This match was really started off with Ricochet getting dominated by Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe just basically using his power. He forearm Ricochet, slammed Ricochet on his neck almost, and he basically was just taking advantage, wailing on Ricochet all stupid. Ricochet selling each move more ridiculous after the other, because you know that's what Ricochet does. Sold it pretty well though, I'll give him that. Then eventually Ricochet got offense in, did like a flip off of Samoa Joe's chest into like some type of spinning kick, and it actually looked pretty cool. There was another part where Ricochet tried to go for like a flip something, but Samoa Joe caught him with the crazy German, and Ricochet just sold the hell out of it. He sold death. Then Ricochet went for one of his dives to the outside. We get to a point where Ricochet escaped the coquina clutch and was able to bounce Samoa Joe off the ropes and try to go for the 630. Samoa Joe gets out of it, and then eventually Ricochet goes for the code breaker because he just got the okay from Chris Jericho to use it. Uses the code breaker, sets it up for the 630, wins the match. 1, 2, 3. We have a new U.S. champion, your boy Ricochet. Match was cool. It was probably the best Ricochet and Samoa Joe match we'll get on the main roster because, you know, I feel like Samoa Joe right now, I want to say he's at the end game, but, you know, we're not getting a good match out of Samoa Joe these days is very hard to find because it seems like Samoa Joe is just like, you know, dwindling down because he's getting older. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's restricted. I feel like WWE should let Samoa Joe do more stuff in the ring because his stuff in NXT was great. So I don't know what it is. The match wasn't bad, though. It was good. It was cool. Like, I like the stuff they did with Samoa Joe basically just powering Ricochet, tossing him. And, like, there was one part where he did a pounce to Ricochet, and Ricochet, like, flipped. It was ridiculous. It was crazy, though. It was a good match, though. Ricochet, new U.S. champion. Then after that, we saw Ricochet go backstage, bunch of wrestlers clapping, and then eventually leads to the next match we get, which was for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. We had Heavy Machinery versus the Planet's champions, Daniel Bryan and Rowan, which the show is in Tacoma, Washington, which is in the same state where Daniel Bryan is from. So Daniel Bryan got the super crowd pop. Like, they booed Heavy Machinery, who's supposed to be the faces, and cheered for Daniel Bryan and Rowan, who's supposed to be the heels. But this time it's acceptable because they are in Bryan's hometown. Now this match was actually really good because it did two things. It established Heavy Machinery that they can go in the ring, and it also made Bryan and Rowan look good as well, and then they got the win too. And it also may potentially set up for another tag match, probably at Extreme Rules or something. We get to the match itself. Daniel Bryan, like I said, got all of the crowd chants. I'm not going to go into detail with everything in this match. Just know it was really good. Otis Dojovic. I'm just going to call him by Otis Dojovic. I'm not going to just call him Otis. But he looked really good in this match. There was one part in the match where Daniel Bryan went for his, I guess what he used to call them was the yes kicks, but I don't know what he calls them now. Went for the yes kicks, kept kicking Otis in the chest, and Otis just kept doing the Hulk Hogan Hulk up, like, yeah. And then eventually he caught Daniel Bryan, hit him with a T-bone suplex, went for the what does he call it? It's basically the worm, the caterpillar. Went for that for a near fall. Got another moment in the match where Tucker Knight or Tucker, whatever, goes for a moonsault and almost he connects it, but he wasn't supposed to. Like, Daniel Bryan was rolling out of the way, and his whole leg had just smacked Daniel Bryan wherever it was. Eric Rowan in this match did things. I mean, he didn't do much because Daniel Bryan is in his home state, they let him do more in this match. We get towards the more end of the match. Heavy Machinery tries to go for the compounder. I think that's what they call their finisher, right? I don't remember what it was called. We'll just say the compactor. They go for the compactor, but the referee, the Heavy Machinery didn't see that Daniel Bryan made a tag to Eric Rowan. Tucker got duped out of the ring when he tried to go for the compactor, but then eventually sets it up where he jumps off the top rope to the outside. 300-pound man, by the way, jumps from the top rope to the outside to Eric Rowan, gets back into the ring, and Daniel Bryan hits a small package and wins. Mr. Small Package is back. And they win, retain the SmackDown tag titles. It was a really good match, though. I messed with it. It gave Heavy Machinery a good establishment, and it shows that they are good as a team. And it also established Rowan and Bryan by getting a big tag team title win. This might be... This might be their first title defense. If I'm incorrect, if I am, just let me know in the comments. Anyways, the next match we got was the SmackDown Women's Title match. Alexa Bliss and Bayley probably had maybe potentially the best build, or at least had the best segment, because there was a segment between Alexa Bliss and Bayley where where Alexa Bliss told Bayley that she peaked at NXT, and she's mad at Alexa Bliss because Alexa Bliss has had the career that Bayley has dreamt of. Ouch, that really has to hurt. And then we have Nikki Cross in there because she's now aligned herself with Alexa Bliss, and I actually want to see where they go from this with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Hopefully it leads to Nikki Cross going back to being crazy and something like that. So we get to the match itself, and it was basically Alexa Bliss dominating Bayley for the most part, getting her offense in. Bayley eventually gets offense in. She does a sunset flip powerbomb into the turnbuckle. Then we get to the outside. Alexa Bliss hits a cold red on the outside. She tries to go for the Twisted Bliss, but Nikki Cross, for some odd reason, gets involved and distracts the referee. And then eventually led to Bayley hitting the Bayley to belly suplex and winning the match. And after that, she pushed Nikki Cross out the way or something like that. I don't know. It kind of didn't make sense why Nikki Cross got involved in the match, because she didn't even distract Bayley. She distracted Alexa. So I don't know what. This is probably going to set up for something on Monday. But we'll see. Whatever. After that, we got another match. We got Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match. This match, I have to say, was better than their Mania match. I just don't agree with the outcome due to the severity of it, I should say. The match was good. We had to add in the fact of Shane McMahon getting involved, because, this is really a Roman-Shane McMahon feud, and then they just threw in Drew McIntyre because they can't find anything else to do for him. It's not like he couldn't just main event the pay-per-view against Seth. But we get the match itself. It's pretty much a house fight. Roman overshot himself doing the dive over the top rope to the outside. Basically, Drew was in his bag as well. He did a couple of submissions on Roman. Roman did Roman stuff. Then Shane McMahon got involved every now and then. We get towards the later half of the match. Roman tries to go for the drive-by on Drew, and Drew catches him and hits the reverse Alabama slam into the table. He didn't go through it. He just face first into the table, I believe. Then after that, we get to the end. Roman goes for the Superman punch. He spears Drew McIntyre. Shane McMahon takes out the ref. The referee is taken out. Shane hits the coast to coast on Roman, kicks out of it. I believe Drew hit a Claymore kick too, if I'm mistaken. I might be mistaken. Roman kicks out of it. Shane McMahon tries to get involved again, gets taken out by Roman, and then Roman ends up spearing Drew and winning the match. Good match, better than the WrestleMania match. The WrestleMania match was bad because it was just like it was bad. But this match was good. I felt like Drew should have won it, but it is what it is. I mean, I need Drew McIntyre to get like a big win because it seems like they don't know what to do with Drew McIntyre. Because it seemed like when at the beginning of the year he seemed like a #1 contender for the Universal title. Now he's having a mid-card match with Roman Reigns and he's losing. And now he's Shane McMahon's bodyguard essentially. I don't know what they're doing with Drew. Hopefully they do something with Drew because Drew is very boring. Or put him back with 3MB. I don't know. But anyways, the next match we got was a steel cage match for the WWE Championship. Dolph Ziggler, champion Kofi Kingston. I wish I could have said this match was great. It wasn't. It was actually like pretty boring. There's any highlights, I would say probably Kofi Kingston jumping off the top rope from being on top of the cage to Ziggler. Other than that, I mean, the match was like pretty boring. The ending. The ending was clean. Okay, so let me talk about the ending. So we get to the ending of the match because the rest of the match was just Kofi and Dolph doing things, and then eventually there was teases of Dolph escaping the cage, but Kofi got out of it, got him back in the cage. So Dolph escapes like some type of suplex and was able to crawl out the ring, and Kofi saw it. So Kofi decides to dive through the ropes to the outside and wins the match. Pretty awesome ending. The match is, but the ending of that match was actually pretty great. Now, what was I gonna say? The problem with this match is I felt like it didn't need to be in a steel cage. They used the steel cage a little bit, but I feel like modern day steel cages in WWE aren't as good as they used to be because I feel like it's not aggressive. I don't feel like they're trying to, murder each other. I feel like they tone down the steel cage, and I also feel like they don't use the steel cage enough as a kind of as a weapon. I feel like the steel cage is just there to make a match important, but they don't actually use the steel cage for being a steel cage. Like, they don't throw each other into the steel cage like that anymore. People don't jump off the steel cages. People kind of get suplexed off steel cages, but not like that. So, I mean, it wasn't that good of a match. Whoever put this match together is going to hell, by the way. But anyways, Kofi Kingston retains. New Day celebrates. Dolph Ziggler just looks depressed. Like, am I good enough? After that, we get the main event. WWE Universal Championship. I said that right? WWE Universal Championship. Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match. Stipulation is that Baron Corbin picks a special guest referee. Now, on Raw, they built up the story where Baron Corbin had different people be announced as the ref. First, it was Elias. He got attacked by Seth Rollins with the chair. Next was EC3. EC3 got buried with the chair. Then after that, who was it? It was Eric Young. He was just talking to Baron Corbin, And he said, yo, I'm not going to do it. Me and you go way back, yada, yada, yada. And then Seth just wails on him with the chair, too. So Seth Rollins comes out with the chair. Baron Corbin officially announced that the referee is Lacey Evans. And you could just hear the crowd just die after that. The crowd was pretty much lit this entire pay-per-view. The 10 of them that were there. Because, half of the arena was tarped off. We're not going to even get into that. And basically, Lacey Evans pulls up as the referee. She's the referee of the match. And then the match happens. Before the match starts, Corbin attacks Seth Rollins with the chair. He's on offense for a lot of it. We get to a point where Seth puts Baron Corbin through a table, and Lacey Evans starts counting. But then, when she realized that Baron Corbin was going to be out for more than 10 seconds, she, what does she do? She changes the rules of the match and makes it no count out. So then Seth has to bring Baron Corbin back into the ring. He tries to go for the curb stomp, but Baron Corbin gets out of it. Eventually, Baron Corbin goes back into offense. What else? I'm trying to think of what else crazy happened, because I mean, it's a fucking Baron Corbin match. Who gets excited for Baron Corbin matches anymore? I'm really trying to think. What else did he do after Seth tried to go for the curb stomp? I'll skip around. Seth goes for suicide dives. Corbin catches him with a choke slam for a near fall. Get towards pretty much the end game of the match. You know, Seth once again tries to go for the curb stomp. Lacey Evans uppercuts Seth Rollins in the nuts. You know, she can assault Seth Rollins. She slapped him a couple times too. You know, she can assault Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins can't do nothing about it. Okay. Then Baron Corbin goes for the end of days. Looks like he's about to win the match before Becky Lynch gets involved. Takes out, what's her face? Lacey Evans. You know, takes her out. Then eventually Baron Corbin is like, what the hell? And then Seth Rollins hits a curb stomp. Super kick curb stomp. They bring in a regular referee. Counts. Seth Rollins retains. After that, we get a cute but corny to me moment of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch just admiring each other. I really don't like the fact that they're using Seth and Becky's like relationship to defy each other. Like when Becky Lynch comes out, they'd be like, "Oh, that's Seth Rollins' girlfriend. Oh, that's Becky Lynch's boyfriend." Like, bro, we ain't got to do that shit. You don't have to play up their relationship online, like on TV. Like it's corny, and now it's really gonna be corny because I'm pretty sure this is gonna set up for a mixed tag match at Extreme Rules between Seth and Becky versus Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans, and I really don't want to see that. Also, during this match, we got a bunch of chants from fans. I forgot to mention this. Got an AEW chant, because why the fuck not? CM Punk chant, because I don't know, because wrestling fans still think CM Punk is gonna come back to wrestle. What else did we get? We got "This is boring" chant. We got an NXT chant, I believe. Yeah. I mean, going into this, we all knew this match wasn't gonna set the world on fire. It's Baron Corbin, for God's sakes. But overall, this pay-per-view exceeded my expectations, because my expectations were like below sea level. And overall, this was a good show. If I had to grade it, I'd give it a C+. Give it a C+. It wasn't bad. Wasn't great. It was good. I give it a B-. I give it a B-. B-. Gets a B-. It's that C+, B- range, because it wasn't bad. Like, nothing on the show was bad except for that steel cage match. It was kind of boring, but it wasn't bad. It's in the C+, B- range. In that area is where I would rank this show, because it wasn't bad. Because Lord knows, we didn't experience some bad WWE pay-per-views. I mean, we literally got one a couple weeks ago with Super Showdown. It was good. It was good. It's probably because my expectations, ignore the voice crack. It was probably my expectations were so low that, like, if they just impress me with something, then I'll like it. And it was overall a good show. Yeah. So that's my review of WWE Stomping Grounds. Close out this video by saying I may or may not be doing a review for AEW Fyter Fest, because I don't really take that show serious. I feel like it shouldn't even be a pay-per-view, but it's free. And you know I like free stuff, so I might watch it, and then the review will come like a couple of days after the show. But yeah, other than that, you know, like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Just do to support me. Follow me on all my social media links down in the description below. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Peace.